right? We are going to see how to basically create something called as, do you remember yesterday we saw something called as supervised learning? Supervised learning, right? And in supervised learning, we saw something called as logistic regression, right? Logistic regression, which was nothing but what kind of technique was it? Was it a regression or a classification technique? Yes, correct, Ganesh. It is a classification technique. It is a classification technique, right? So whenever the data is given to us, so yesterday what we saw that whenever the data is given to us, and let's say we have to predict this column in the data, right? We have to predict this column. We will just try to look into what kind of column is it. Is it a categorical column, or a real valued numerical column, or a real valued numerical column, right? In case it is a categorical column, we will go with something called as classification. If it is a real valued, then we'll go with something called as regression. Everyone remembers this? So I'm just talking about what we have covered yesterday, right? In classification, we saw something called as logistic regression. This was the algorithm, right? This was the algorithm that helps us to do something called as classification. Similarly, for regression, we have something called as linear regression, right? Ganesh, that is something that you will understand if you take maybe a little advanced thing, right? So generally what happens is you can derive logistic regression just from the regression. There is something called as a loss function. From the loss function of regression, you can compute the logistic regression as well. Okay, so there is a probabilistic approach. So if you maybe try to look into something called as log loss, okay, you would understand why we call it as logistic regression. All right. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So any doubts, any confusions from yesterday's session to anyone? If there is no doubt, then we can continue with the today's session. Okay. So we'll start with. I'll just directly open up a code and I'll show you how to basically do this entire thing. Okay. So let me do that. Let me open up a browser, and in the browser, what I'll do is I'll try to open up a notebook on my GitHub account. Okay. So just a second. All of you can see the browser. Everyone can see the browser. Yes. All right. So we are going to look into logistic regression because the problem that we are solving is, anyone? Do you remember what is the kind of problem we are solving? We are solving a problem where the data that is given to us, is going to contain. Let me let me again draw this box. Yeah, the problem that we are going to solve is going to have some data, which is nothing but review or some text, right? It is going to be some text, and there is going to be something called as sentiment, right? There is something called as sentiment. Now, what we need to do is we need to take this entire sentiment, right? And we need to maybe learn from this data, and then given any future text or a review, I need to predict this sentiment, whether it is a positive sentiment or a negative sentiment. I need to do this on the future data point or any data point that is going to come later on. Right? So this is something that we need to do, right? Given any text review, I need to make sure that my machine, my computer understands to identify what kind of text represents what kind of sentiment. Okay, my machine should be able to learn the pattern behind positive and negative sentiment, and based on that, it should be able to tell on any future data point, on any future text review, it should be able to tell whether it is a positive sentiment or a negative sentiment behind that review. I hope everyone is getting the problem, right? Anyone who is facing any difficulty understanding the problem statement? Yes, no? Is the problem statement clear to everyone? Okay. If the problem statement is clear, then what we'll do is I will try to show you I will try to first of all show you okay, Shubham, I'll come back to that. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to first of all show you how to solve a very simple problem. Okay, I will take a very simple problem, and I will show you how to solve that simple problem And in simple terms, what I'll do is I'll try to basically show you how to write the entire machine learning wala code, right? How to write machine learning wala code and how to solve that problem using something called as classification algorithm. Classification. So you will actually tell me whether to use classification or a regression algorithm on that. Okay, just try to understand what the problem is first. Okay, so for Shubham, let me try to again repeat what the problem is with us. So Shubham, the main agenda of this entire thing, whatever we have learned for the past 2-3 days, right? The final thing that we are going to basically learn in this session of machine learning is, given the data in this format, review, some text data, right? Review, which is nothing but English text data, as well as given the sentiments. Given the sentiments, what you have to do is you have to make your machine, your computer, understand the sentiment and the text behind that sentiment. If it is a positive sentiment, you have to make your machine understand that this kind of text, this is the actual text behind which it is saying that it is a positive sentiment, right? It should learn from it. It should not memorize from it. It should learn the pattern, right? So that in future, if some new text comes up, if some new text comes up in the future, your machine should be able to tell. Now your machine should be able to tell what kind of review is it, what kind of, is it a positive review or is it a negative review, right? Is it clear now, Shubham? Yes, it is yesterday's continuation. Yes. All right. So let's come back. Let's look into one problem. Okay, so let me try to open up this code, this notebook. Right, in this session we didn't show even a single line of code till now, right? So now today we'll try to see some code, right? So what I'm trying to do here, I hope everyone can understand this part, right? You all saw what is pandas library. Pandas library was used to load the data into the memory, right? So what we are doing is we are simply saying pd, right? We are saying pandas, read this csv file, which is nothing but called as iris.csv, right? And if I try to plot this entire file, if I just try to look into the head, the top 5 rows, you would understand that this data, right, this entire data is containing 1, 2, 3, 4 different columns and 5 different columns actually, right? Now let's say I want to simply check how many total, what is the shape of this entire data. So in order to check the shape of this entire data, what I can do is I can simply say data.shape. I can see that there are 150 different rows in the data, right? I can see that there are 150 different rows in the data. Now, what I can do is, see, what I know till now about the data, I know that in this entire data, there are actually 0, 1, 2, 3, so on up to 149 different rows, right? Starting from zero, right? Starting from zero, there are 149 till 149 index, there are rows. So total, how many rows are there? Total, there are exactly 150 rows, right? Into how many columns do we have? We have sepal length centimeter, we have sepal width centimeter, we have petal length centimeter, we have petal width centimeter, as well as species. We have exactly 5 different columns. Is it clear till this point? Is it clear till this point? All right. Now the next thing, what we need to do is we need to, right? We need to predict this column. We need to predict this column called as species, right? We need to predict this column called as species. Now, in this species, I will show you Urval, just a minute, okay? So in this column species, first of all, can you tell me what kind of column does it look like? Is it a categorical column or a numerical column? Is it looking like a categorical column or a numerical column? It is looking like a categorical, right? Correct. It is looking like a categorical column. So what kind of problem are we trying to solve? Are we trying to solve a regression problem here or a classification problem here? Yes, we are solving classification problem. Okay, just a second. All right, we are solving a classification problem here. Right now try to understand one more thing. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here in this next line of code, I'm just seeing, right? I'm just see, if you see this entire data, if you see this entire data, you are not able to understand how many categories are there, right? Because all these are nothing but iris setosa, right? All these are nothing but iris setosa. All these 5 different rows that you have on top, right? They are all iris setosa. I want to understand what are all the different kind of categories in this column species, right? So what I can do with this is I can simply say value count. I can simply say on this column, I want to do something called as value count, right? Is it making sense to everyone? Yes, yes, Ganesh, maybe tomorrow we'll try to talk about that. Okay. Is this clear to everyone? I'm just saying value counts in order to check how many different categories are there, and for each category, how many data points are there. Do you remember we were having 150 different data points, 150 different rows, right? And out of 150 rows, I have 50 versicolor, I have 50 setosa, and I have 50 virginica, right? These are the 3 kind of flower species of iris, right? For example, if we talk about rose flower, right? In rose flower, you have white rose, you have black rose, you have red rose, you have pink rose, right? Different species of rose flower. Similarly, in this data, I have a flower called as iris, and there are 3 different species of iris: versicolor, setosa, and virginica. Is it clear to everyone till this point? All right. Now the next thing, what do we have is, what I'm trying to do next is, first of all, I am trying to separate out. See, the data contain sepal length centimeter, sepal. So let me actually write it down. So let me actually write this thing: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, right? And species, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to separate out input and output, right? So this entire thing is called as input. This entire thing is called as input, and this thing, the thing that I need to predict, is called as an output. Okay, this is called as an output. Later on, for any future data point, given sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width of that future data point, I should be able to tell whether that flower, whether that data point belongs to versicolor, virginica, or setosa. I should be able to do that. This is what I'm trying to solve here, right? So this is, species is something that I'm trying to predict here. It is a categorical column. So what kind of machine learning algorithm I will use? The machine learning algorithm that I'm going to use here is nothing but called as logistic regression. Okay, there are many different machine learning algorithms, but in this scenario, let's use logistic regression because we know the name here, right? By the end of the session, I'll try to show you what are the other machine learning algorithms that you can use, right? Now, the next thing, in any machine learning problem, okay, in any machine learning problem, there are a couple of things that you need to do. Okay, so let's first talk about those things, those steps that you need to do in any machine learning problem. So in any machine learning problem, first of all, what is the most common, what is the most common thing that you would need in order to solve any machine learning problem? You would need some data, yes or no? Without data, can you do anything? Is it possible to do machine learning or data analysis or any of these things without data? No, right? So we need the data, right? We need the data. So what I'll do is, first of all, whatever data I have, I will try to, right? I will try to use this data. And in this data, the first step is to break this data into training data and testing data, right? I will try to use this entire data. I will try to break this entire data into something called as train and test data, right? Now, why am I doing this train and test split? See, let's say a client comes to you, right? A client, let's say you are working as a software developer, or maybe let's say you are working as a data scientist, and some client comes to you. This client gives you some data, some medical data, or maybe some other data. Okay, it can be some medical data or maybe some other data, and this client is expecting you to build a machine learning algorithm, build a machine learning model on top of this data, so that they can predict in the future if some patient is coming with some of these input features. You can predict easily what the output is going to be. Now, tell me one thing: the client who is giving to you this data, right? Let's say you use this entire data and you build up something called as a machine learning model. Let's say you created something called as a machine learning model, which is able to very well distinguish between, maybe let's say, positive and negative points, right? Let's say this data is containing COVID, right? So whether the patient is having is the patient COVID positive or COVID negative. Yes, correct, Yash. Our algorithm, it will learn from the current data and predict on the future data, right? On the unseen data, right? So what we'll do is, see, let's say my problem that I want to solve is, I want to solve this problem where I want to predict whether a patient is having positive or a negative, right? Whether the patient is COVID positive or COVID negative, right? So do you see that this column that you want to predict is nothing but a categorical column again? Yes or no? Right? It is again a categorical column, right? So what kind of algorithm you need to use? You need to use classification algorithm, right? You need to use classification algorithm. Now, how would you build this model? How would you build this model? You will just put this entire data inside a box called as machine learning algorithm, right? This is a black box, let's say, which is containing logistic regression algorithm. Right, let's not worry about how all this thing happens. Let's say it is containing something called as logistic regression algorithm, and this logistic regression algorithm is responsible to give you that model, that machine learning model, which will be able to identify whether a patient is positive or a COVID negative, right? Now I hope you understand. Internally what will happen is, internally this algorithm is going to plot all these points like this, right? Internally it is going to do something like this. It is going to plot up all the points like this, and finally it is going to learn that line which is going to separate out all the data points. Are you all able to understand this? This is something that we did yesterday, right? We did it yesterday. This is something that is going to happen internally in this box. And what is that machine learning model? That machine learning model is nothing but this line, right? This line is something that you are learning, right? This line is something that you are learning. This line is something that you are basically saying that this line is going to help me identify whether a patient is positive or a negative. Making sense to everyone, yes or no? Is it clear to everyone? Cool. Now tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. If you use this entire data, if you use this entire data and you build up this model, can you give this model to your client now? Can you give this model to your client? Why you can't give this model to your client? Why no? Yes, we haven't tested it, right? We haven't tested the model. We have not tested the model whether this model is doing well on the unseen data or not. Making sense to everyone? We have not tested the data. So generally what we will do is, whatever data client or whatever data we have, see, we can't directly go ahead and maybe ask client for more data, right? In most of the cases, you won't be going to the client and ask for the data again and again. So what you will do is, generally there is something that you need to follow, right? So what we will do is, whenever a client comes with the data, right? Let's say this client, some client comes with some data, you will try to break that data into train data and something called as test data. Is it clear to everyone? You will hide this data, right? You won't use this data for some time. Now what you will do is, yes, you will do data partitioning. Yes, you will partition up the data into train, and some data you will put it in the test, right? Now this column is the COVID result, right? Whether the patient is positive or negative, right? Positive or negative. So all these, so there are multiple different rows, right? Similarly, multiple different rows in test as well, right? Now what you can do is, you will use only this data. You will use only, let me try to draw a blue box around that data. You will use only this data, right? You will use only this blue box wala data, and you will try to create a machine learning model using some algorithm, right? Using some algorithm, maybe let's say logistic regression algorithm, some algorithm. You will use some algorithm and you will try to create a model, right? What is that model? Logistic regression internally, what will it do? It will try to plot up, it will try to do some in higher dimension, or maybe in 2 dimension, or maybe 3, 5, 10, 15 dimension. We don't know, right? So it depends on the data. It will try to come up with a line that can separate out positive points and negative points, right? So this is my model, right? This is my machine learning model. This line is nothing but my machine learning model. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Yes or no? Till this point, is it clear? Now, what you can do is, now you can test, right? Do you remember you separated out training data and the testing data, right? Now what you can do is you can test your model on the test data, right? You can test whether the model is performing really well or not on the test data. How you can do that? Let's see that. Okay, now what you will do is you will use this data. Let me try to put a pink box. You will use this data. Okay, I will give you an analogy. Okay, so that you understand this entire concept very well, I will give you one analogy just after completing this part. Okay, so what you will do is you will use this pink data. Now, is this pink data containing any outputs? Yes or no? Is this pink data containing any outputs? We'll come to that. Yes, no, right? Pink data is not containing. See, I'm just taking the input, right? This part is the output, this part, right? So this part, we are not considering this part. We are just taking the inputs, right? We are just taking the inputs. Now what we will do is we already have our machine learning model, right? We already have our machine learning model. Now using this machine learning model, what we'll do is we'll take each row. We'll take each row, right? From the data, we'll take each row. What is actually happening to this? Okay, yeah. So what we'll do is we'll take each row, right? And we'll try to see, can we plot each row on this XY axis? Yes or no? If we have two columns, we can very easily plot this entire thing, right? For example, let's say if the first row I plotted it here, right? I tried to plot and the point comes here. The second row, let's say it comes here. Now, do you see the line is saying that this point is positive, whereas this point is negative? Right? This line is a separator. This line is a separator. This is the model that you will get, right? For example, let's say another point. Let's say you try to plot another line point, next point, and that point comes here, right? That point comes here. So what will this line say? This line will say it falls on my positive side, so it should be a positive COVID positive case, right? Similarly, let's say you take the next point, it comes here, you will say that that is a COVID negative data point, COVID negative, COVID negative, COVID negative, and so on. Now, is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? So do you see that these are the predicted values? These are the predicted values by this line. This line is basically saying, so what you are doing is you are taking your test data. Let's say this is your test data, right? This is your test data. You are saying what are the predicted values. You are saying what are the predicted values using the model, using the machine learning model that you built. You are telling whether the data point, whether the column or the row, whether the row is positive or a negative, right? Whether the row is positive or a negative data point, right? You are doing this prediction using this model. Now, how do you test it? Do you remember that we didn't use something called as this part? We never used this part, right? We never used the actual label. Do you remember we were also having the actual labels, right? We never used it. So let's try to put it here. Let's try to put it here. These are the actual labels, actual output, right? Actual output of COVID positive or negative. Now what I can do is, since I already knew this thing and I also now know what are the predicted values, I can match these things, right? I can match these two columns to check whether the model is doing good or not. How many are able to understand this entire thing? So this is something that you will do. Yes, we'll cross check. Yes, we'll cross check. Yes, correct, Avanish. So let me give you an analogy. Everyone ready for that analogy? You might have, you all will be able to relate to that analogy. Okay. So if this feels uncomfortable, if this feels a little difficult for you, let me give an analogy, and that analogy I can guarantee that will make more sense. Okay. So let's take an example. Let's say you have some data. Let's say you have some data. Okay, let's not consider it as a data. Let's consider it as a MCQ book. Let's consider it as a MCQ book. Is that fine? Yes or no? Now, whenever you try to prepare for any exam, what you will do? Whenever you try to prepare for any exam, what you will do? You will revise the question, and you will revise what is the answer behind that question. You will revise, you will learn another question. You will learn what is the answer behind that question. Another question, question 1, question 2. You will solve multiple different questions, right? Answer 1, answer 2, answer 3, and so on. Yes or no? Yes or no? So try to understand that your mind, your brain is basically training, right? you are making your mind train for the exam, something unseen, right? You are having inputs and you are having outputs, right? For this question, this is going to be the output, right? This is going to be the answer, right? You already know this. Yes or no? Everyone agrees to this? All right. I'm just taking an analogy, right? So that you make more sense out of it. Okay, let's now take something bigger. Okay. Now, let's say you have some questions, question one, question two, and so on up to maybe let's say question 10,000, right? And there are answers associated, answer one, answer two, and so on up to answer 10,000, right? Now, what I'm saying is, I am saying that whenever you go for an exam, what will happen? You will revise all the questions, you will revise all the question, and you won't know what is your test paper, right? You will never know what is the test paper, right? So the test paper will be unseen to you, right? The exam that you are going to give, the exam that you are going to give, it is not seen, right? You won't be able to see that. You will only be able to see whatever books you have, whatever notes you have. From those books and notes, you will be able to revise all these questions and answers. Yes or no? Everyone able to understand this? Everyone able to understand this? Yes or no? Now on this data, while revising, right? While revising, what you will do on this data, you will train your brain, right? You will train your brain on this brain on training data, training data, right? What is the training data? This is the training data, right? Training data. Now, what happens later? When you learn all the things, let's say now the exam comes up, right? So in the exam, are you going to get both answers and questions and answers? Yes or no? How will examiner know whether you know all the concepts or not? Examiner, so whatever you have trained, right? Whatever, so you have your mind, right? You have the mind, right? Now your mind will be put on a test, right? Your mind will be put on a test by giving these questions to you, right? So the examiner is going to give you the questions, right? Examiner is going to give you these questions, right? Now do you see that these are the actual answers to all these questions, right? These are the actual answers to these questions. But what will happen in the exam? Examiner is going to give you the questions, right? And your mind, it should be able to generate all the answers. It should be able to generate all the answers. Yes or no? Are you all able to understand this now? Right? So this is something called as predicted value, right? This is something that you are predicting in the exam, right? Now, how will examiner test whether you are doing good or not? Whether your mind is able to learn all the things or not? How will the examiner know that? He will simply take, yes, he will give the marks, right? He will assign the marks based on the correct answer sheet, right? This is the actual answers, right? So they will take the actual answers and they will try to match all the answers with the answer that you gave in the exam. And based on that, they will assign some accuracy score or some marks, right? They will say that you basically got 90% marks or maybe 10% marks or 20% marks or 100% marks, something like that. Now, is it clear to everyone? Is the analogy clear to everyone? What we are going to do in machine learning, the same thing we are going to do, right? Yes, correct, Alpha, right? Is it making sense to everyone? Yes or no, guys? I need a yes or no from all the people. If this analogy makes sense, then it is going to be very easy to understand all the other things. Okay. Now let's see again what we are going to do in machine learning. What we are going to do in machine learning, the data will be given to us. The data will be given to us, right? We need to test our machine learning. We need to first train the model. We also need to evaluate the model before giving that model to the production. Train the model and then evaluate the model, right? Both the things we need to do, right? We need to do both the things with the given data. So in order to evaluate the model, what we'll do is we'll try to break the data into train and test data. So the first step we'll do on this data, we'll try to take this entire data, we'll use some machine learning model, machine learning algorithm, we'll use some machine learning algorithm, right? Maybe logistic regression or something, right? And then what we'll do is we'll try to basically come up with a machine learning model. In case of logistic regression, what is that machine learning model? That model is nothing but the line that separates positives and negatives. Making sense to everyone? Right? Now, what you need to do in order to evaluate the model, in order to evaluate that this model is doing really well or not, you will use the test data, you will use the test data, this entire data, you will use this data, right? You will use this data, you will put this data through the machine learning model, right? You will get the predictions, whatever predictions this machine learning model is giving you. And then based on this prediction, you will try to basically test these prediction with the actual values, right? You will simply compare all the predictions that you do with the actual value, and you will come up with the accuracy, your model is having, right? It can be 0%, it can be 100%, it can be 10%, 20, 90, 30, 40, anything, right? You based on that percentage, you will say my model is doing good or not. You will be able to understand whether the model is doing good or not. Yes. Test data should be within the data set, right? So the data will be given to you, right? It can be the case that you will be given with the train data and test data separately. It can also happen, right? It can also happen that train and test data will be given to you separately. That also happens in the industry. Is this making sense? Cool. Now let's go back to the code, and let's try to see what we are doing, how to do this entire thing using the code. Okay, so now we'll do this entire thing using the code. So let's see that. Now what I'm trying to do here, i'm trying to simply yeah I'm trying to simply first of all see first of all what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take df species. Do you remember the column species? In the data we have sepal length centimeter, sepal width centimeter, petal length centimeter, petal width centimeter, and the final column was species, right? First of all, what I'm doing is I'm trying to separate out my input. Let's call that input as X, and my output, let's call that output as Y, right? I'm just separating out my inputs and outputs, right? Input is containing these 4 different columns, and output is containing only one column, species, right? So I'm just saying that this target, this is nothing but my Y, and the data is nothing but my X, which is containing everything except for species. Right now, if I try to show you my X, right, do you see X is containing all sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, not the species, right? I'm just separating out the X, the input and the output first of all. Okay, so this is something that you will do. And if I try to show you the target, do you see the species is here, right? All the species values are here, right? Now, what is the next step? The next step is nothing but, right? So what we have done is we were having this data, right? We broke this data into this kind of structure, right? We created sepal, we kept sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, and species, we kept it as a different variable. We kept it inside the different variable. Is it making sense to everyone? So we have just separated all the inputs and all the outputs. The questions and answers, we are just separating them for now. Making sense to everyone? All right. Now, if this is making sense, now the next part is going to be very easy to understand. What we are doing is from sklearn.model selection, there is a library sklearn, which is containing all the machine learning models and everything that we need to use, right? So there is something called as model selection inside it. We are trying to import something called as train test split. Now, do you remember, do you know, can you understand why are we actually importing this thing, train test split? Why are we actually importing this train test split? We are importing it so that we can do that split, right? We are importing it so that we can do that split that I was talking about, this split, right? Is it making sense? Is this making sense now? We are using this function, we are using this functionality which is already present inside sklearn model selection to do this split, right? To separate out my training data and my test data. Now let's see how we are doing that. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just writing train test split, this function as it is, and inside brackets what I need to pass, couple of things. The first thing is I need to pass all my X or this data, right? So all these 4 columns, right? I need to pass all these 4 columns, this entire pink box, right? I need to, so now it is not pink anymore. So let me try to remove that thing. Yeah. So I need to just pass this entire data which is present inside standardized data. The second thing is I need to pass this entire data also, right? I need to pass this entire data also. So that is present inside target, right? That is present inside target variable. And finally, what I'm saying is I'm saying that test size is equal to 0.25. What do I mean by this? It means that out of 150 different rows, 25% of the rows will go into test, and 75% data, yes, 75% data will come into train, right? And 25% inside test. Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? I hope this is making sense, right? If this is not clear, just let me know, okay? Cool. Cool. The next thing, okay, the next thing, once we do this, what is the next thing? Can anyone tell me what should I do next? Let's not go into the standardization part, Avanish. No, you don't need to open it up in the PC right now. Maybe after the class, you can try to implement this entire thing somewhere, okay? Now, can anyone remind me what is the next step? What is the next step? Yes, correct. What we need to do is, we need to take this entire data, the training data, right? We need to take the training data and we need to use any machine learning algorithm, right? And we need to put this entire data inside this machine learning algorithm. And this machine learning algorithm is now going to give me some model, machine learning model, right? Right? If I have logistic regression here, the model is going to be a line, right? It is going to be a line which is going to separate out positives and negatives. Making sense? So Samyak, what we were talking about here was, we are using this entire code. We are just trying to do this train and test split. Using this entire code, we are just doing the train and test split. We need to split the data so that we can train on this data and then we can evaluate our model on this data that is present inside the test data. Is that fine? Right now, what we'll do is we'll try to take the entire train data, we'll put it inside machine learning algorithm. Machine learning algorithm is going to give me this model, the line, right? So let's see how to do that. The entire machine learning code is just these 3 lines. Okay, always just try to remember. Yes, Shweta, yes. That is a very nice thing to observe. So it is a random split. Yes. So first of all, what will happen is before splitting the data, it will randomly shuffle the entire data and then make a split of 75-25%. Okay. Yes, we can adjust the split also. Generally, what happens is in the industry, people will use either 80%, 20% split, 80% in the train, 20% in the test, or 75-25, 75-25. Or in case you have lots and lots of data, 70%, 30%. Okay, the case where you have lots and lots of data, you will put 70% data inside train and 30% inside test. Clear as sabko? All right. So, okay, there is another question. What is the meaning of random state equal to 0? So random state equal to 0 means, see, whenever I do this split, try to understand that. Do you understand that the data is going to get shuffled? Right? This data is going to get, entire data is going to get shuffled. Yes or no? Right? So after shuffling the data, then it is going to split the data, right? So let me take some examples here. Okay. So let's say I have, let's take a single column. Let's say it is containing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say I want to make a split so that 4 values are inside train and 5th value is inside test. Okay. So I want to make a split like this. So if I use this data and if I use this function on this data, what is going to happen is it is going to first of all randomly shuffle the data. For example, let's say 5, 4, 1, 3, 1, right? And then it is going to make the split, right? Do you see? Now, again, if I run the code, it is again going to randomly shuffle the data. It is again going to randomly shuffle data 2, 3, 1, right? And it is going to then make a split. If I again run the code, the data that you have, it is again going to randomly shuffle the data. For example, 5, 2, 1, 3, 4, and then it is going to make a split. Now, do you see that always whenever you try to run the program, it is always going to give you different results in train and test? Do you see because it is a random shuffling, right? It is always going to give you different results in train and test. Now what we are saying is, we are saying keep a random state equal to 0. It is, we are just assigning a state. We are just assigning a state 0, and whenever we assign the state 0, so for example, when we assign the state 0, it will remember that whenever we assign the state 0, this was the random split that was generated. So whenever you try to run the program again with this random state 0, always this split will be done. Always this kind of random shuffling and split will be done. Always this will be inside test data and this will be inside train data. Yes. Is it making sense now? Yeah. So just to keep the results consistent, right? So that's why we just take this random state equal to 0. You can use any number here. You can use any number here. Okay. It can be 70, it can be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, anything, any integer value. Okay, just make sure whenever you use that number, it is going to simply assign that random split to that number, right? So that whenever again you try to run the program, it is going to generate the same exact random split. Okay. Yes, results will also change if you try to not keep this random state equal to 0, right? Because you will be keeping different data in train, different data in test, right? It will be learning different things again for every different random splits. It is going to learn something different, right? Because the model is going to learn only from the training data, right? Now, if you have always you try to keep on changing the training data, it is going to learn some different things. So that is totally a different thing, Shivam. So let's not go into that thing. So that is a little more advanced concept. So once you know all the things, then only you should go into those kind of things. Okay. First of all, let's focus on the basics. Let's see how to. So that is a very good question, by the way, Shubham. So maybe when we come up with the next course, then maybe we can talk about this kind of questions. Okay. Chalo. Now let's see how to train on the model. Or first of all, let's try to see what there is one thing that I missed here. So we were having X, we were having Y, right? We were having inputs. This is input. This is output. Now, can anyone tell me what are the columns in input? What are the columns in input? Anyone do you guys remember what are the columns? Sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width. Yes or no? And in species, it was in output it was species, right? Yes, correct, right? So these were the columns, right? Now, when I do a random split, let's say this is the kind of split that is happening. 75% of the data is here, 25% of the data is here, right? Let's say this is the kind of split that is happening. Now, how many pieces do you have to store? How many pieces do you see? If I try to cut the data like this, how many pieces do you see? 4. I see 4 pieces. Can anyone else see 4 pieces? Right? So piece number 1, right? Piece number 2, piece number 3, and piece number 4. Correct? In this order: 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So we have to catch all these pieces, right? We are splitting the data. Now we have to catch all these pieces. So can I say that this piece is nothing but, can I say piece number 1 is nothing but X train piece? Can I say it like this? It is a training part of X, right? Similarly, what should I say to my piece number 2? What should I keep the name of piece number 2? Let's keep it X test. Yes, correct. Similarly, for piece number 3, let's keep it Y train, and for piece number 4, let's keep it Y test. Is this fine with everyone? Right? Now, do you see on the right hand side, I've kept all these variable names. So all these species will go inside this piece number 1, piece number 2, piece number 3, and piece number 4. All these things will get stored inside it. Okay. So right hand side wala part is getting done here. I hope this is clear to everyone, right? Cool. Now, what we have is, we have now 4 pieces. We have 4 pieces now, right? Let me try to draw these 4 pieces, right? Piece number 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Now, can anyone tell me, in order to train my machine learning algorithm, in order to train my model, right? In order to build a model, what should I do? Which data should I use in order to train my model? Which data should I use to train the model? Okay, training data, but which piece now? Which piece? Can you name that piece? Yes, Avanish, bilkul correct, right? We need to use both these pieces, right? We need to use input as well as output. Yes, correct, right? We need to use piece number 1 and piece number 3 to train my model. I need to give this entire thing to a machine learning algorithm. Making sense to everyone? Now let me show you how I can create, how I can basically do this step, how I can get the model, okay, how I can do this entire thing. And for that you have only these 3 lines. In Python programming you have only these 3 lines to do this. You are saying in sklearn there is something called as linear model, and then you need to import an algorithm name called as logistic regression. Okay, the line should be exactly same. Okay, there is a module called as sklearn.linear model, and in that sklearn.linear model there is something called as logistic regression. Now in this logistic regression, how do you do this training wala part? In order to do this, you are simply saying, right, let's not worry about the line number 2 for now. You are simply saying classifier dot fit and give this entire data, x train and y train, right? This is called as x train, this is called as y train, right? You are just putting the entire data inside a variable called as classifier. And now let's see what is this variable classifier. This variable classifier is nothing but logistic regression. We are just creating an instance, we are just creating an object of this logistic regression classifier. Are you all able to understand this? So any machine learning algorithm, any code that you write, you just need to change this thing here, right? It can be a linear regression, it can be a SVM, it can be a decision tree, it can be any algorithm. In machine learning there are around 20-30 algorithms. You just need to change this thing here, and you just need to write the same code again and again to do this entire machine learning wala part, right? This is the easiest part in machine learning. How many are able to understand this part? Are you all able to understand? Yes, Shweta, we just need to import it, right? We don't need to write the functions on our own. No, all the algorithms are predefined in Python programming language, right? Inside this thing called as sklearn. Okay. So Avanish, what I was saying was, so the data that you have, right? The data that you have was something like this, right? You have broken the data into 4 different pieces where you were having X train, X test, right? Y train and Y test and Y test. Now what you are doing, you are taking this entire X train and Y train data and you are putting it inside something called as a machine learning algorithm. And what is that machine learning algorithm in this case? You are using logistic regression in this case, right? And now using this logistic regression, what you are doing is, first of all, you are creating the object or in an instance of this logistic regression by writing this line, right? This is something called as object oriented programming wala part. Okay, so this line, when you learn something called as object oriented, you will understand this line. Okay, let's not worry about this line for now. In this line, just try to understand that you are creating a classifier, you are creating a variable that is going to help you help you implement logistic regression algorithm. Okay, and in order to perform this training part, where you will basically take this entire data and give it to machine learning algorithm, what you need to write is, you need to simply write this line of code, classifier.fit, and then the entire data. Is it clear to everyone now? All right. Now, what is the next step? Can anyone tell me what is the next step? If I train the model, let's say I have the model now. What is the name of that model? That name of the model is nothing but classifier, right? The name of the model here is nothing, but we have kept it as classifier. Now, what is the next step? I have a model classifier. What should be the next step? Yes, correct, Shweta. So we should test the model, right? The model that we have, we need to test it. So how do I test it? On which data should I test it? Can anyone tell me? Should I take both X test and Y test, or should I only take X test? Yes, correct. I should only take X test, right? I should only take X test, and I should basically put this entire data into my classifier, right? And I should predict on this entire data, right? I should predict on this entire data. Let me call these predictions as Y predictions. Y predictions. Do you remember? Do you understand that these are the predicted values, right? So I'm just saying that these are nothing but the Y predicted value. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear? We already have the actual values, right? These are the actual values. We have now the predicted values, right? Let's see how to write the code for this. In order to write the code, you just need to say a single line. Okay, you just need to say a single line. You say that classifier, it was the model that you learned. You say dot predict, and then the data on which you want to predict. And let's try to keep this entire prediction inside a variable called as y predicted, right? Assignment, right? You are simply assigning all the predictions that you will generate inside a variable called as y predicted. Making sense to everyone? I hope this is making sense. Yes or no? For the beginners, it is going to be a little tricky to understand this thing, but if you do this again and again, you will get the hang of this entire thing. Okay, now let's see the next thing. Okay, let's see the next thing. So what is the next thing? I'm trying to now use the predicted values and the actual values, right? So yes, one column. Yes, Samyak. Only one column, right? You need to simply predict species. Species is a single column. Whereas if we talk about X, it is a multiple column, right? Multiple columns are there. Multiple inputs are there. Sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. In this case of iris data, right? All right. Now the next thing, let's see how to basically evaluate the predictions. Okay, how to evaluate the model, how the model is doing. Let's see that. So there is something called as accuracy score present inside matrix. And where is matrix present? Matrix is present inside something called as sklearn again. Right inside sklearn, everything is present. Okay. So you just need to learn where these things, whatever you need to use, is present. That's it. Okay. So sklearn contains something called as matrix, right? And now inside matrix, there is something called as accuracy score, right? There is something called as accuracy score. Now this accuracy score, you need to give it what? You need to give it the predicted values. You need to give it predicted values and the actual values. Where are the predicted values stored? It is stored inside y predicted, right? Where are the actual values stored? It is stored inside the y test. Now, do you see y test and y predicted? I'm giving it both, right? And it is going to tell me what is the accuracy of my model. Now, what is the accuracy? Can anyone tell me? It is 97%. It is 97%. Now, do you see that the model, right? You are able to build a model which can give you 97% accuracy. Isn't it amazing? Guys, are you all able to understand this? Perfect. Perfect. Now, should I show you one very cool thing? Yes or no? Are you ready for something really cool? Let's not worry about how to improve the model. Let's not worry about that. Okay, so let me show you really very cool thing. Okay, so I will just turn off my this thing for a moment. Okay, I just need to open up something from my Google Drive. um, just a second. Okay, so you will really get that wow wala feeling within 2 to 3 minutes. I actually didn't see the code for a while. Maybe I don't know whether I'll be able to make it work or not, but let's take a chance. Okay, let's look into that code. Just a minute. Okay, let me search for that code. I did that last month, I think. I think this is it. So I will show you some code, right? That code is not what you should basically focus on. You should just focus on something which is going to be the output. Okay, just focus on the output. The agenda of me showing you that code is nothing to look, not to learn the code. It is a deep learning code. Okay, okay, so I'm just giving you a warning. All right, so it is going to look very difficult, right? It is a deep learning wala code, but I just want to show you something really cool. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so let me see whether I got, yes, I got the correct thing. Yeah, so let me try to open up a couple of things here. All right, so I have everything set it up. I believe that let's try to take the risk. Okay, so I'm not prepared for it, but anyways, let's try to do that. Yeah, I will do that. I will do that. I'll just show you all the steps again. Okay, so just wait for a minute. Okay, so let me share my screen. Just let me know if you can see the browser. Can you all see the browser? So first of all, let me try to discuss about the problem. Okay, then we'll try to look into what I'm trying to do here. Okay, do not focus on the code again. Please do not look at the code. Do not see what the code is doing. Right, except for these 4 lines, I can guarantee that you won't be able to understand anything in this code. Okay, except for these 4 lines, you won't be able to understand anything. The code part is not the big deal here. I think you already know that coding part is easy in machine learning just by looking at the previous code. It is just a matter of practice. Okay, so let's see what problem I want to solve here. Okay, yes, alpha, yes, right. So what I'm trying to do here, I have, let's say, many different photos, right? I have many different photos. You, first of all, you guys have to tell me what kind of problem I'm trying to solve here. Okay, these photos are having some labels, right? There are many photos. There are many photos, right? So these photos are having some labels, right? The photo is something like this. The photo is something like this. There is something written by a human being on the photo, right? For example, there is something like this written on the photo. There is something like this written on the photo, something like this, something like this, and so on, right? And the label of the photo contains what is actually written on it. Now, do you understand that computer won't be able to understand whether it is a one or or what, right? Because computer doesn't understand photos, right? It only understands zeros and ones. Are you all able to understand it? Computer won't understand the photo, right? So what we are doing is we are putting a label here, which is 1. We are putting a label here, which is 0. We are putting a label here, which is 3. We are putting a label here, which is 2, right? This is a photo wala part. This is something that we are putting as the label to all the photos, right? We are basically mentioning what this photo contains. Now, let's say given any photo in the future, like this, if I want to make a machine, if I want to make my computer understand that it is nothing but a 4 and it should generate a 4 label, what kind of problem am I trying to solve? What kind of problem am I trying to solve? Given that photos are only from 0 to 9, photos are containing only the numbers from 0 to 9. Try to understand, try to think of it and then try to answer it. Okay, we have 2 different answers. Alpha is saying regression and Avanish is saying classification. Now we have 2 for classification, 1 for regression. Anyone else? Okay, 3 for classification, 1 for regression. +1 +1 +1. So all are saying classification and you all are correct. Everyone is correct. So this is a classification problem, right? Because see, what is classification problem? If you have the data, right, you just need to see the output label, right? In this case, output label can be either 0, it can either be 1, 2, 3, and so on up to 9, right? It is a discrete value. It is numerical, no doubt, but it is discrete, right? You can count it. It is a categorical. The categories can be either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, right? 10 different categories are there. Making sense to everyone? And what is each, what is the input? What is the input? Do you understand that input is nothing but an image? Yes or no? Do you all understand that input is nothing but an image, right? Input is nothing but an image. Again, image, and so on, right? Now, what I am doing is I am somehow converting these images. I will just try to do what? I'll try to somehow convert this entire image, whatever is given to me, right, into a row, and I will try to store this entire image inside this row, right? And then I will try to store what is the label of this image. I will try to store something in this row. I will try to transform this entire image to this row, and I'll store this variable, this 0 here. If I have another image like this, I will try to create another row. I will store this entire image inside this row, and I will put a label inside this column called as, and I'll just put a 3 there, right? So this is how I will try to basically convert this entire data in this code. And then finally, I'll try to train the model and then predict something. Okay, let's see. Let me try to run the code actually. Let me click on this. Let me see first if the runtime is GPU or not. Yes, GPU is there, right? So I'll just try to run the code, run this one, and this one also, right? Now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to simply run the entire code. So this is a kind of, so it is loading the data now. Now it will try to print out. So this is how the data looks like. No, we are not going to use any regular expressions. No, right? We are not going to use any regular expression. No explicit programming. We are only going to make our machine understand the data, right? So that is the only problem that we are trying to do here, right? In machine learning and deep learning, right? So now see, do you think that it looks like a 4, right? Similarly, so what is this? What is this thing? What is this thing? It is a 1, right? Now do you see some users will write 1 like this, some users will write 1 like this. Similarly, do you see all the people, different people have different style of writing 7, different people have different style of writing 8, different people have different style of writing 4, and so on, right? So it is a very difficult problem to solve, right? If you think about it, it is a very, very, very difficult problem to solve. But given recent days, it is very easy to solve just by using this code, whatever I've written here. Okay, so let me try to run the program. Let me actually try to show you some amazing outputs. Okay, so this is the code where I'm trying to build a complete neural network. Okay, so you guys might think how the neural networks are written. This is the entire neural network that I'm writing here. Okay, it is a complete entire neural network, right? So this is how encoding a neural network will look like. Okay, let's not worry about how to write this thing, what this entire thing means, but this is the entire neural network. Okay, now let me go down. Let me go down. It is still running. See, it is going to take time, right? Because it is a very difficult problem to solve. It is very computational heavy, right? It is going to take some time. Let's wait for some seconds, right? Yes, now it is going to work. So it has started working. If you try to run the same code on your computer, it is going to take at least 60-70 minutes. This code that I showed you, it is going to take at least 60-70 minutes to run the code, right? But given this Google Colab, right? Given this Google Colab, I can run this entire code in 2 to 3 minutes, right? Let's see. See, it is running very fast. Just try to run it on your computer. See, you will understand that it is going to take a lot of time, right? So let's wait. It is going to be, it is the 5th epoch. It is going to run till 10th epoch. Let's wait for it. Okay. Let's wait for a couple more seconds. Not couple, maybe I think 10 to 20 seconds. Let's wait for this entire thing to run. So this is the model training part, right? In logistic regression, we also did the same thing, right? We took the entire data, right? We took this data, and we did something called as, we used something called as algorithm, machine learning algorithm, and we trained a machine learning model, right? This entire thing that was happening here, it was nothing but machine was using some algorithm. I was making the machine learn something. Okay, this is the learning phase. Now let's go ahead and try to maybe use this data and try to see whether that using this data, my model is able to predict properly or not. Now try to see this thing first. Do you see that this model is having 99.23% accuracy? 99% accuracy. A machine is able to, handwritten digit, it is able to predict very well, right? Let's come down. Now what I'm trying to do, let me try to run the code here. This is the current predictions on the test data, all the test data. Now do you see on the exam, right? In the exam also my model is giving 99% accuracy, right? It is a very, very good accuracy. Now let me come down. Let me run this code also. Let me come down. Let me run this code. Now, as a human being, what does it look like? As a human being, what does it look like? Yes, neural network will also be doing the classification of Anish. Yes, right. They are used for other parts also, other tasks also, but I'm showing you this thing for classification only, right? Let me run the code. Let me run the code. Let me make this machine learn this thing. See this image? It has seen this image. Now, if I run this code, the machine is saying that it is a 1. See, this at this place, I'm never telling the machine, I'm never telling my computer that it is a 1, but my computer is able to tell that this is a 1. Isn't it amazing, right? Are you all able to understand this thing, guys? Everyone able to understand this, yes or no? Cool. Now, do you want to see some magic now? Let me actually show you some magic. Okay. So I will open up something. So just a second. So you would say that it is all planned and everything. So let me do something here. Let me actually try to, yes, let me actually try to show something here. Yeah. What is this? What is this? What have I opened? This is paint, right? Now let's try to create some photo. Let's try to maybe write something. Okay, so let me try to, so what kind of photos were we having? We were having black background wala photo. Let me try to fill up the black color here. And then let me try to write something. How do I write something? So there is a brush. Let's try to use the brush here. So what kind of color is it? Let's try to see that. Okay, so it is all, yeah. Yeah, I think this will work fine. So let me do a ctrlz. So what should I write? Let's try to write maybe a 0, right? Let's try to write a 0 here. Okay, just to make it a little darker, let's do that, right? Yes, I have already shared the certificate link. Utkarsha, I've already shared it. So if you want it, just let me know. I'll maybe share it again. Right now, is it looking like a 0 to you? I hope everyone is able to say that it is a 0, right? Yes or no? All right, let's do something now. Okay, let's do something. Let me try to, yeah. So this part, let me smoothen these parts. Yeah. Yeah, let's not worry about that shape because it is a paint, right? So I'm just drawing a rough figure here. Okay, so let me try to save this image. Okay, I'll just save this image and I'll just import this image in my Google Drive. Okay, just a second. Okay, so I'm saving the image, ctrls, it is 0.png. I'll be saving it on my desktop. You won't be able to see those steps because otherwise I have to show you my entire screen. I'm using my personal computer right now, so just a second, okay? All right. Now I hope, all right. So now I think I'm ready with everything. All right. So what I'll do is I'll try to first of all share the screen now. Yes, Pradhi Agarwal, what you can do is I will share a couple of links here. Just a second, okay? Let me do that. Can you all agree? Can you all tell me? Can you please tell me that are you able to see the screen? Are you all able to see the browser screen? All right. So I will share the links now. Okay. These links, just try to make a note of all these links. Okay. Also, so these links will contain the YouTube channel, certification link, as well as the code that I'm showing you. Right. All the code that I'm showing you, everything is present on these links. Right. Just try to go through these links. Okay. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel that we have, and also make sure that you maybe go to the LinkedIn and try to follow that. Okay. All right. Now what I'll do is I'll just drag and drop the image from my desktop, right? I'll just drag and drop the image from my desktop to this right left hand side, okay? Right. So it is saying something. Remember, upload it. Okay. So let's click on that. Click on that. Okay. Now, do you see that this is the image, right? Everyone able to see 0.png? I stored it like 0.png. Okay. So let me try to maybe. Can I open it up in the new tab? Is it really possible? No, I think it is not possible. Yeah, on the right hand side, I think you will be able to see this. Yeah. Can everyone see this entire thing now? I hope you can see this, right? So on the right hand side, it is showing this image. Let me now close this up. Let me, yeah. Now what I'll do is I've written this code, right? I've written this entire code, right? For just loading this image from my Google Drive. Okay, so on the left hand side you can see that this image is on this Google Drive. So let me write the name of the image, 0.png, right? 0.png, that is the image name. So let me try to run this code so that we as a human being, we can see what is that image. Okay, so I'm just trying to show you that image. Yeah, so do you remember that this is the image? Because I am trying to basically load it up, and I'm trying to compress this image into 28 by 28 pixels, it is looking like this, right? But originally this image was a 1080p wali image, right? I created that image in the paint. It was a very high dimensional image, high it was an HD image, but now I have just compressed this image just because just so that my algorithm works fast. Is this making sense to everyone? Everyone able to understand this part? Right, now let's do the final part. Let's click on this prediction. Okay, let's try to run this part, the prediction part. Let me click on this run button. Let's see what it predicts for us. See, it is not able to predict something which is really you are seeing here, right? So the thing that I do here, right? Do you see machine learning model here is saying that it is a 1, right? That is really a heartbreaking thing, right? Is it making sense to all of you? Right, now let me try to show you one more interesting thing here. Okay, let me actually look for it. Just a second. Where is it? Yeah, I created a couple of things here. Let's see if I can find that. I think I misplaced those images. I actually created some images the way that I created just now in front of you. I created a couple of images. Now, if you see, I am not able to find those images. Maybe tomorrow I'll try to come up with those images again. But if I come up with those images, I'll show you that this model is very good with many different things. Okay, if I show you that this model with multiple different other images, it will work very well. Okay, given that I drew this image on the left hand side, right, it is not able to make the prediction very well, right? Do you see it is not in the center, right? It is not in the center, and it is simply trying to predict it as 1, right? Let me try to actually find those images if I can. Just a second. If I can find those images, it will look really nice. Otherwise I have to create the images which are centered. Okay, let me actually do something like that. Maybe just a second. All right, so I'm done with that. So let me share the screen again. Let me show you what actually happened. I'll do something here. Okay, now do you see the image in front of you now? Do you see the image in front of you now? This image is the same image that I drew earlier. This is the same image. The only difference is this is now centered. This is now centered. The earlier image, it was not centered. Is it making sense? The earlier image, it was not centered, but this image is centered. I just take a screenshot of the image. I just take a centered screenshot of that image. That's it, right? Now if I try to maybe run the code, let me again run the code, right? So again, let me try to run the next part here. Now, do you see it is a 0 now, right? For earlier image, for the previous image, let me try to put that previous image again here, right? 0.png, right? Let me run the code now, right? This is something. It was very high dimensional image, right? It was very high dimensional image. I was bringing this image to a 28 by 28 cross 28 cross 28 wala pixel, right? Because of which all the pixels, they were not able to basically adjust properly, and the prediction was giving us something incorrect, right? But now what I did, I just took a screenshot, right? I just took a screenshot, and I just sorry, I just did nothing. I just took a screenshot for the same image, right? And then this is the answer. If I do the prediction now, it is able to tell that it is a 0, right? So there are so many things that we need to learn when it comes to the data, right? It is not just that you understand some algorithms. It is much more, right? It is a lot more, not just the algorithms. Which one, Shweta, for this data that you that I showed earlier? Now, okay, so let me actually show you how much data was it. Now, do you see how much data was it? Can you tell me? Can you tell me just by reading this thing X-train shape? Can you tell me what is 60,000, what is 28, and what is 28? Think of it. Yes, correct, Alpha. So see, these are the number of images. 60,000 different images I was having, right? And then these are the pixel size of each image. Each image was of 28 by 28 pixel, right? You can think of it as a matrix, 28 by 28 matrix. You can think of it like that, right? Where each cell simply represent whether this cell is of white color or a black color. That's it, right? This is how in computers images are stored. Yes. How many are able to understand this part? No, 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 no. We don't have any alphabets or symbols. We only have 0 to 9, these characters. That's it. Okay. Cool. Let me actually show you one more case study. Let me actually show you one more case study if I can find that. Okay, Alpha, I'll look into it. Let me actually see that. Oh, this is not a you should have sent maybe an image of some digit or something, right? So yeah, this will definitely categorize it as something. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, let's do that. Why not do that, right? So let's do this. So first of all, let me check what is the property. It is a JPG image. Let's see if my code is able to handle the JPG image. Let me go back to yeah. So what I'll do is I'll try to drag and drop this image on the left hand side. So that image was this. So it is loading the image. Yes, done. Now what I'll do is I'll try to maybe use that image here. First of all, it will try to convert this entire image into 28 by 28. Rename or copy path. Okay, so if I copy the path, so I'll have the name also. So this is the name of the image. Copy it. Skill Z, copy. I'll put it here. Let's see if my code is able to. Yes, see it broke this entire image earlier. I think guys just try to see that image that Alpha shared, right? That image is broken like this. Okay, so it got it got converted into 28 by 28 pixels here, right? And then if I try to predict it, let's see what it tells me. It will tell me definitely something, right? It sees a 2 here. Machine learning algorithm, this deep learning algorithm, it sees a 2 here. Isn't it amazing? No, 44 won't be recognized, Alpha. So you need to give one alphabet, one thing at a time. Okay, just do one thing, Alpha. Go to my GitHub and try to download this code and try to basically work on this thing. Okay. Okay. So you think that his head is like 2? Yeah, maybe that's why this machine learning, this thing is able to tell that it is a 2. Okay. Yes, Krishna, this code that I've written, it is only for grayscale. RGB, for that, it will we have to give some other things. Okay, we have to maybe make this entire model, understand that it is a RGB. See, if you see this in this entire thing, this is the channel. Okay, so for black and white we only have one channel. For RGB images we have actually three channels: red, green, and black, blue, right? We have three different channels RGB, so we need to put a 3 there, and we need to make the model train on the RGB images only, right? So then only it will work. Otherwise it will convert this thing to only one color. Making sense, Krishna? It will bring the image to only one channel and then try to reduce the number of pixels. Okay, so I was trying to search for something. Okay, let me actually show you one more very interesting application of machine learning, if I can find that. Yes, I think I found it. um, yeah, I think I found this. See, it is a very different thing. Okay, so from whatever we have been doing, it is a very different thing. Can you all see this code? I'm using the same data set here again. Let me show you actually what I'm trying to do here. Are you all able to see this code? All right, so let me show you one very interesting, one of the state of the art right now, okay, in machine learning and deep learning, something which is really very amazing. Now, do you understand that, let's say you have some image, let's say you have some image of maybe 1 or maybe 0, right? So is it possible to compress these images? Try to think of it. If you try to compress these images, how will it look like? If you try to compress the image, how will it look like? Try to think of it. Okay, so you will try to reduce the pixels, you will try to reduce the quality, you will try to do multiple different things, right? And after compressing the image, is it really possible to get back the original image? No, right? It is not possible. It might be something totally different, right? After you compress the image and you try to get back, regenerate the image, recreate the image, it might be totally different, right? Now let me show you some neural network. Okay, I just created this neural network two weeks ago. Okay, let me show you this neural network. It is called as encoder decoder or auto encoder, right? So let me show you that. So let me show you what I did an experiment. Okay, I did an experiment, and in this experiment what I did, I used basic machine learning techniques and basic deep learning techniques to basically create something like that. Okay, I took these images. Let me show you one at a time. I took all these images. Can you see all these images? Can you tell me what numbers do you see on the screen? Can you type all the numbers that you see on the screen, just to be sure that you can see these images? Just write the first and the last. Yes, correct, Alpha. Yes, correct. See, I used these images, and then what I did was I compressed all these images. I tried to compress all these images, right? And originally it was 28 by 28 pixel, right? It was originally 28 by 28 pixel. Let me see. So what I did, yes. So I compressed it to 8 by 8 pixel. Okay, 28 to 28, 28 by 28 pixel to 8 by 8 pixel. And do you want to see how it looks like? After compressing the images into 8 by 8, do you want to see how it looks like? Let me show you. This is how it looks like. This is how it will look like in 8 cross 8 pixels. Right now, what I tried to do, right? This was the image, right? I compressed all the images, right? It looks like a blurred image. You can't even understand all these things, right? You can't even understand all these things, right? Then what I did was I recreated the image. I tried to recreate the image from this blurred image using some neural net, right? Let's see what I get. Do you see? I get nothing, right? It was not able to predict, it was not able to tell whether this compressed image was a 7 or what, right? It is see, try to see it carefully. There are dead pixels, right? There are so many dead pixels here. There are so many dead pixels in between, black color dead pixels. Yeah, we got the galaxy. Everyone is able to see this. Everyone is able to see this. Now try to think of it. So what happens if I can generate these images back, right? What happens if I can generate these images back? So what I did was I tried multiple different experiments. I tried many different experiments, and I came up with this experiment, right? Using which, what I was able to do, let me show you. So I was able to compress the image into 8 cross 8 like this. Okay, I was able to compress the images to 8 cross 8. And then again, after 8 cross 8, I regenerated the image. Now, do you see something similar? So it is a very nice attempt, right? Do you see? Right. So it is not exactly the 7, but it is able to get back all the things properly at a very good with a very good accuracy, right? Right. Now the thing is, I tried multiple different experiments. Okay, I literally tried multiple different experiments. Let me show you the last experiment. Yeah, the last experiment was this, right? In which I tried to basically compress the image. I tried to compress the image, and then I tried to get back the image, and this was the output. Now, isn't it looking good? Right? I was actually able to get back almost all the information from the images. Now, how many are able to understand? At least how many are able? How many are curious how to do these kind of things? Right? So these things are possible, right? These things are really possible. In machine learning, in deep learning, there are so many things that are possible. You will be amazed, right? Right now, machine using deep learning, what you can do is you can show deep learning some image, right? And based on that image, deep learning can using deep learning, you can generate similar images which are not there in the world. You can show it a face of somebody, and it can create the face in such a way that that doesn't exist in the world at all, and it will look totally human to you. You won't be able to identify whether it is a human being or a fake image. Yes, Shweta, it will help in saving so much space. Yes, correct. Right. It will see, it comes with a cost, right? It comes with a cost. It is not exactly the previous image, right? It comes with a cost, but yes, it does save so much space. Avanish, so full course. See, in order to learn these things, it is going to be a very big, very long journey. Okay, it is not a 2 months game to learn all these concepts. Okay, it will take you at least 4 to 5 to 6 months to learn all these concepts, and then start working on these kind of problems. Yes, yes, Alpha. Right. So I will come up with a course maybe next month. I'll come up with a course. I will inform all of you, right? So all the people who are connected with me, I will inform all of you. If you are really interested, I will provide the course to you, right? And given that you have already attended all these sessions, you will get additional discounts and everything. Okay, so that it will be more affordable for all the people to buy the course. Okay, so if you want, you can do that later on. Okay, right now, yeah. Okay, Ashwini. So I'll come up with something next week, next month. Okay. Yeah, Shweta. So there are many different experiments you have to do in order to get these kind of things. Okay. All right. So I hope today's session was interesting for all of you. No, it is not image detection. I'm not doing any detection here. I'm just doing some unsupervised learning here. I'm just using some unsupervised techniques. I'm simply doing something called as compression and regeneration of the images. Okay, it is totally a different kind of thing that I'm doing here.